Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, enemies and friends, welcome to the show that never ends. You are tuned in to On the Real, where we keep you up to date in all the latest in the world of TV and movies. That was a very low energy start, but it is
Woohoo!
and I apologize. But don't let that low energy start be any indication of what you're going to have in store for you today. So, joining me today is my brother from another mother, Mr. K Asante, K underscore, the underscore bandit. How you doing today, sir?
And the slanderer has returned. How you doing, man?
That's I'm all right. I'm all right. That's what I'm here for.
You need to get that energy up, man. It's a good day. There's a lot of news to talk about. Come on. And that beginning music gets that bump. Come on now. Get into it. It's good. It's good.
I got my Hawaiian shirt on. You're right.
Hawaiian soap
out here. All right. So my brother from the same mother, Mr. LeVar Johnson, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, we don't name no gimmicks. You know what it is.
You wearing a Sox hat. I don't know what that's about. You grew up in the Bronx.
Oh, they didn't have a Yankees hat.
You should be. You're not repping properly. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Bro. Whatever. It's better than your hat. Even though yours is on brand.
First of all, on brand all day, every day, all the time.
I'm gonna get an Everborn 5950 New Era hat. I'm gonna just get it sold in.
You do that, sir. I don't do that. I'm just giving myself a full screen for a second to show off the branding because I stay on code all the time.
Hey man, Everborn Saga. That's your name.
That's
right.
It's not even Steven Johnson.
It's not anymore. My name don't matter. So
you change your name to Everborn, like how the Ultimate Warrior did.
I'm gonna get it legally changed.
I'm telling you, LeVar, when he enters the ring, it'll be Everborn, the Slenderer.
But see, this Saga. Is the thing. That is when the branding is complete. When I get my name legally changed. See, then it's like Everborn everywhere. But anyway, I digress. All right, so what are we watching this week? Why don't we start with you, Mr. K Asante?
Oh, I had some interesting viewings. As you know, we're all, doing that Loki thing, which we will discuss more in depth. But, I enjoyed this week's episode. Well, I'll save the details for when we go in detail. But yes, by and large, I thought it was very enjoyable. I also happened to catch the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Have y'all seen that?
Yes, I haven't.
It's on my list of things.
I've seen the Hitman Bodyguard because that's Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson.
But
now they're adding Salma Hayek. So,
indeed,
how was it? Tell me about this.
It is hilarious. It was hilarious. It's a bad movie, as all of them are, but it's a bad movie in the best possible ways. So I had a great time watching it. So as you'd expect, it's each of them playing their position as they play their position. It's almost like you've seen Ryan Reynolds typecast in what he's typecast in. You've seen Sam Jackson be Sam Jackson, bad motherfucker wherever he goes. And now they've added Salma Hayek, who also basically plays this role in many of her this character in many of her roles as well. It's just kind of combining all of their funnies together. It makes for horrible Rotten Tomatoes. I think it stands like at a 27% or something right now. But
how do you compare it to the first?
Not as good as the first. Not as good as the first. Because obviously, these things are always lightning in a bottle. You don't expect them to be as good as the second time they're around. But I wouldn't say it's not watchable. It's highly watchable. If you liked the first, it's worth the watch. It's not too much to get into. Oh my God, it did all too much. But it's hilarious. It's a bad movie, but it's got the funny. It's got Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. It's got Sam freaking Jackson. More you can't ask for.
Are there any cameos?
There are some cameos, but I will leave those to those who happen to watch them. These movies live and die based on those, I suspect. So I'm not gonna spill some of those here. But yes, and what I should have been watching, but I guess I'll leave that probably to what I will be watching is the new Resident Evil TV show.
I might watch that after we get off of here.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be on next
NBA
week.
Finals.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I guess
nobody's watching that because that's on right now.
Exactly. Nobody's watching that because this is on right now.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. So, what I have been watching is the Fear Street trilogy, like I was telling you guys about last week. So Netflix is doing a 3-week event. It's a horror series. It's rated R, but it is still kind of written for young adults, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
so
I remember
like
Fear Street, R.L. Stein.
Yeah. It's based on the R.L. Stein books.
Fear Street is to R.L. Stein. It's like when you were in elementary, you were reading Goosebumps, and then you go to junior high to high school, and they give you Fear Street. So it's kind of, a little bit more teen based rather than the childish stuff from Goosebumps.
But I think that first of all, I hated the protagonist. Like she was just a jerk. You know where it's like you're supposed to, where they write the protagonist as edgy, but they're kind of a jerk for no reason. I just
what'd
you say, LeVar?
A whole cunt out here?
I'm not going to use that word. I'm not using the C word. But
you just dropped it real quick.
I could not empathize with her. I could empathize with the other people in the movie, and a lot of them died. I won't tell you who died and who survived, but not everybody makes it to the end.
So here's my question real quick, Steve, before you continue. I have heard that this will starts in the 90s, then goes to the 80s, and then
it goes to the 70s. So it's 1994.
So the 90s, the 70s, and then the 1600s.
Yes, right? 1666.
And they're all connected.
They're all connected back to whatever happens in 1666.
So whatever happens in 1666.
So the idea is this town is like the murder capital of America. A bunch of people get murdered, and then you find out, like, there's some ghost that the ghost origin story is 1666. During the Salem witch hunt or something like that. I don't know.
All right.
And then it leads back. But like I said, if you don't mind your kids seeing a few F-bombs that get dropped, I think it's a good family horror movie. It's not scary, but it is something for like a popcorn grabber and watcher. But the misses and the girls liked it. So
I hear there's a lot of Scream vibes to this. I hear a lot of it evokes a lot of Scream.
No, it doesn't. It's not on Scream's level. Absolutely not.
Oh wow, that's
hard disagree.
It's not on Scream's level.
Not on Scream. Not even close to Scream's level.
See, I think Scream is not even that great. So if it's not on Scream's level, then what's your review? What's your score here? Then I'm interested.
I'm judging the movie based on how the family reacted to it. If I were rating it for myself as something I wanted to watch, it would be 6.5.
The first Scream was all right.
Yeah, the first Scream was all right for its time, but it's been retread many times.
Yeah, it's like they ran it into the ground, but the first one was all right. When it was something new, it's just like, holy shit, because they hadn't done it before,
Yeah, exactly. So with the family's review, that's more of an 8, 8.5?
8.5, yes. It got a 2-point bump because they all liked it and they all had better. TV.
Cool.
And it was a fun sit down experience.
Nice.
So this weekend, aside from Black Widow, we are watching that. Here's a question: are you watching it at home, or are you going to go to the theater?
I have not decided yet.
I have not decided until tomorrow.
I know. I haven't decided yet because, as I'm sure viewers of this show know, of all the three of us, you two live in glorious New York City, while I live in Florida. And living in Florida comes with its certain ups and downs. While you guys
say America's toilet bowl?
Yeah. Well, technically, right now, New York is America's toilet bowl because y'all
just letting that go down, huh?
Oh yeah. I sent the video, man. I know what it is. Man. I shared it in the group chat.
Right now, y'all New Yorkers have your subways flooded, so you guys are technically the toilet bowls.
Man, I take Ubers everywhere.
That's
Uber everywhere.
So yeah, needless to say, I would love to go to a theater and watch this, but I don't trust people still, man. It's been a while since I've been among the unwashed masses, in the
troglodytes, as I like to call them.
Since the C virus like kind of made people separate, it's kind of hard for me. And I don't know if this is the movie that's justifiably worth going to that theater and potentially doing that for. I don't know yet. Since I have the option, I don't know yet.
Now, Mr.
It might be The Matrix, though. The Matrix, no doubt.
Oh no, I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that.
I don't want to, even though that one is offered to me for free in my home because I'm an HBO Max subscriber. I will go to the theater to go see that. But this one,
I will get on the train and swim through the tunnels and then sit next to the pizza rat.
Oh, I might be in
see the Matrix.
I might be in there Matrix 4 with a mask on, like, whoa, but I'll still be in there watching that movie.
All right. So what's your take? What have you been watching? And will you go to the theater to see Black Widow, Mr. Johnson?
I'll see it either way. I would rather see it in theaters and wear like 5 masks, because I want that whole theater experience. I haven't had that in 2 years. I miss it. And for a Marvel movie, I'd risk the COVID. But I've been watching America the Motion Picture on Netflix.
That's the cartoon from the what do you call it? People, Archer, the guys who made Archer.
It is phenomenal. Basically, they retell America's story as if like George Washington and all these other presidents and historical figures were the Avengers.
So it's like Hamilton, but less dancey singing.
It's hilarious. It's racism. It's all type of stuff. It's just there like a Native American character. It's a black character played by Killer Mike. And it's just like they're very aware. It's just like, why should we fight with you? It's like, we have a feeling you're going to screw us over. Of course they are. And then they deal. I mean, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but if you could watch it, watch it. I mean, like
I've seen the trailer. I'm excited to check it out. Yeah.
Like he goes and gets this guy named Sam to be on his team, but it's Sam Adams, and like America's drink is beer, and like that defeats like the British drink, which is tea. But it's hilarious. And then Sam Adams becomes Uncle Sam at the end. It's great. If you have time to watch, it's worth the watch.
Cool.
I don't want to tell you too much to ruin it because I don't want to give away the jokes, but it's hilarious.
Okay,
they've always been kind of biting with their commentary. I'm looking forward to watching that. That's cool.
So for me, in regards to going back to the theater, and I'm sorry if I'm being, I'm trying to like tweet this out and share it. So I'm trying to multitask. But this, if I don't go see Black Widow, it will be my first MCU movie that I have not seen. And as a matter of fact, my first MCU movie that I haven't seen like opening weekend.
Me too.
In history, ever. That's 24 films. So I'm apprehensive.
I would agree with you, but it's like a few that I didn't see. Like I didn't see the first Captain America in theaters. I didn't see the first Thor in theaters. I didn't see neither one of the Ant-Man movies in theaters. Everything else, though, I saw in theaters. But those 4, no.
Yeah, I saw all of them in theaters. Yeah, and I enjoyed them all. I was actually surprised. Well, okay, except for The Dark World. The Dark World was a little bit of a slog, but I'm surprised the Ant-Man movies did not make as much, did not get as much fanfare as they didn't, because I think that for what they were very fun and very cool, and they fit right into the MCU.
What is that? Ant-Man was a character I didn't give a crap about as a kid. So it's just
but so was Iron Man. Iron Man was crap. But, like, be real. It was
I didn't give a shit about none of the Avengers except for Hulk.
Yeah, exactly.
Kid, Hulk is the only one I gravitated.
Hulk is the only character that was actually even of the A class. Yeah,
that's the only Avenger that Marvel doesn't care about.
No.
If they owned it,
exactly. It's the only Avenger that they can't work with. That's why they do that. If they could work with him, he would be their next like Wolverine. He'd be everywhere. But they can't do that. So it is what it is.
They would center it around him.
Whatever. Okay,
it's funny, man. It's funny. No. Real quick, you guys bring up an interesting question. It makes me ask one question that came to mind. What was the last film you guys saw in the theaters? I guess I'll start with you, Everborn.
It was either Sonic or Bad Boys for Life whichever one came out after, because I saw them both their opening weekends.
And how about you, LeVar?
It was probably a Marvel movie. It's probably Endgame, honestly.
No, because there was a movie that came out after Endgame. You saw Spider-Man in the theaters.
There you go. Spider-Man. That was the last movie I saw in theaters.
So which one was first, Sonic or Bad Boys for Life? Because I saw both in the theaters.
I don't know, but
I think I saw Bad Boys for Life in the theaters too, but Sonic was the last one I saw in the theaters, I think.
And Sonic, as much as I like, like it's terrible, right? But like
it's not that terrible.
If you watch it again, it's very watchable. We was watching it the other day, and I found myself laughing at all of the Jim Carrey scenes.
It's for kids, bro. Jim Carrey is
meant
great.
To be cool. It's fun. It is. You dogging it for no reason. You're keeping
because it is a Chipmunks formula template that they put it in. The whole movie should have took place in Emerald City and inside.
This franchise is not meant for creative outlet. It's meant for monetary gain. It works.
This is why Microsoft needs to buy Sega. But that's not what this show is about.
If that happened, there'd be never another Sonic movie ever again. Where was Master Chief supposed to come out? Thing is still not out here. There's a movie, a TV show. Get out of here, please. They don't know how to close movies and TV shows. They don't know how to.
You know what the problem why we never got a Master Chief movie is because Microsoft, it's their only property that they're kind of hold on to, like tooth and nail, and they have to sign off on every decision. Everything. But you're not a movie company. You can't. They're trying to tell a story. You can't go and tell them what is going to make a good match. Like so that I think that's why, and they probably got laughed out of Hollywood. But anyway, we've discussed what we're watching. Mm-hmm. Now I want to talk about. Now I'm going to leave this up to you, Mr. Johnson. Do you want us to talk about Tomorrow War first, or you want to talk about Loki 5? Because I know you haven't seen Tomorrow War, and we're going to spoil the fuck out of it.
We could talk about Loki 5, or you could also mention what you think about that thing that Hugh Jackman tweeted.
Oh, we're gonna come to that in the end. Those are the little
yeah.
But let's go with Loki 5 first, and then we'll talk about the other Marvel stuff, and then we'll come to the Tomorrow War. And maybe we'll get a special guest to come in. Maybe not. We'll see. Loki episode 5. What do we think? I will start off. I think it was the best episode of the series. Now, and there's a point that I was bringing up this morning. I was talking to my other brother. Do you feel like these Marvel TV shows have the same level of spectacle that the movies have? Now, this episode showed to me was the best sort of effects wise.
It's definitely the most expensive of all the shows they produced, but that animation on What If looks expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it's not going to be like this. But I think the difference, though, is with the MCU shows, I've seen sort of the CG that's on par with the films, but you don't have the same level of stunts, fight choreography, and sort of car chase things like that.
The fight choreography is definitely ass compared to the movies. But the visual effects are very good. It's better than anything you've seen on the CW for any of them DC shows.
No, it's better than anything anywhere in terms of television.
But I think I think that what you see is on purpose, but not because of a budget cut. I think it's because they're taking these shows as an opportunity as fillers for those hardcore fans who want that filler, right? We've already discussed on a few occasions how Feige has already come out and said that if you happen to be one of those who just watches the blockbusters, he'll let you be able to do that without missing a beat if you choose not to watch the Disney Plus shows. So that means it's more character focused, and they save the bombast for the AAA come to the movie theater situation.
Any bombast.
I'm not saying that they're saving it, but more of it is. That's right. Yeah, they're saving they're those big set pieces, the money on the screen, all that stuff seems to be more focused with their tentpole blockbusters. And these shows, they spend a lot more time you can definitely tell they spent a lot of time on character development. They spent a lot of time on fleshing things out. It's more about filling in those gaps. That's right. So they don't spend as much of their budget. That's why, like you said, when they do happen to give you that CG, it's still on par with the movies. I mean, corners are cut. You can see it. But it's still on par by and large with it would be more comparable to the movies than it would be to CW, which we've already established, right? So it's not like they're not willing to spend. It just seems like they're more ready to focus folks in the direction of get to know these characters. Who are they? Why are they here? Why do you care about them? And then we'll show you the big ass explosions when you're ready to go to the theater. So it seems to me.
So what were you saying, LeVar?
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh.
I was fixing my headphones. I had to take them out to like tangles.
Okay. No. So it's not, to me, it's not so much about we got Neo in the building. Neo said, what's happening, brother? Says he needs him to hurry up and release Doctor Strange 2.
I'm with you, man.
You heard Alfred Molina out there snitching, talking about he's gonna be in the next Spider-Man, right? And then Kevin Feige was like, "Some people get off the mic, they like to talk. Me, not so much.
Not so much." He's like I like to just keep it all in.
He sent the goons. After Alfred Molina. We got Courtney in the building.
He's like, "You'll never work in this town again."
Courtney was a big fan of episode 5. And he didn't like WandaVision because he's sexist.
Oh, stop it. No, stop it.
Anyhow, they were going to do a Sinister Six
I'm telling you.
Like, give them an actual movie. Alfred Molina's done. His character's dead and replaced with some
He might be dead in real life. Kevin Feige
but come on now.
Juice like that.
At least, see, Alfred Molina can at least like pull that a little bit because his character is of note. Jamie Foxx got no pot to piss in. That dude, they have to reinvent his character and hopefully make it better.
I'm still waiting for Spawn.
And he's still got an open mouth. Yes, that's right. Still waiting for Spawn on it.
So I keep saying, don't let Todd McFarlane direct any movie. I think that's the problem with that whole project. But anyway,
back to Loki. The only reason they do these shows, period, is to keep us paying for Disney Plus. That's why they keep spacing it out, so we keep paying our subscription. These shows are inconsequential to the bigger picture of the theatrical releases, but it's just so we'll keep paying for Disney streaming.
I wouldn't say inconsequential because it is. Imagine you are a die-in-the-wool Marvel fan and you don't watch Disney Plus shows.
Yes, it's great because they give you Easter eggs that you would never see in the movies, like all of that with the frog.
You got the damn Thanos copter, my dude. What else you want?
But see, yes, I want to focus more on the episode itself as opposed to the whole series. We'll come back to the whole series thing in a minute. But it's funny that you brought up the Thanos copter, right? The smoke monster that Marvel loves so much that they killed. That's a real thing, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of connections to Kang, the Conqueror, with that, right? Right. Yeah. So that what
hundreds of Easter
what is the name of the smoke monster? Alpheon or something like that?
I don't know. The Desolation.
Whatever his name is in the comics, that smoke monster
is connected to Kang.
Is connected to Kang, right? But he wasn't protecting him. He was,
and he wasn't a smoke monster.
Okay,
he wasn't a smoke
monster. He
was
like a dragon or something.
Yeah, and they're basically are fighting against each other in the comics, and Kang used like a smoke cloud of sorts to block. So basically, they both can travel through time, right? They have the ability to traverse time, and it's one of those. It's one of those. This is my domain. You can't come here. So there's a delineation between an X amount of timeline. I think AD or something like that, and onward, it belongs to Kang, and anything before it belongs to this monster. And he used that cloud to kind of block it. That's that.
What's this? I think what is this Kang Enterprises thing? What are we talking? What
is a lie?
Yeah. That's also being sold. That was being and actually that actually does exist because in the Spider-Man Far From Home, the last movie, when the Stark Tower was being sold, Avengers Tower was being sold, they didn't know exactly who it was being sold to, and it is being sold. The words mean Kang.
Okay, now
that's how
what
life looks in the comics.
I want to. It is so. I was right. Now here's the thing that I wanted to bring up. Right? Mm-hmm. Can we take a moment to appreciate the greatness that was Richard E. Grant as old Loki?
Oh yeah, yes. Of course.
He just classed up the whole joint.
Came in
chewing up the scenery. Shit. He was good.
Now here's my conspiracy theory. That Loki is our Loki from our timeline.
You think that's only your conspiracy theory? Or like millions of other people had that.
I didn't hear nobody say it, but
because when I first saw, you know, Avengers Infinity War, I was just there like, you sure Loki? Because he's been doing that, faking his death or putting a clone of himself someplace, and they're tangible things that you can touch. So he's been doing that. So why would I think he wouldn't do that? Why would he let Thanos kill him?
Even that Thanos scene,
when it first happened, I had topped you. I was like, "There's no way he's."
Look at that Thanos scene again. He walks out the room, comes back in the room, and then you can kill him. Like there's always an opening there to say, "Well, that was a clone." They've just never used it. I don't think
Loki would be that stupid to just walk up to Thanos with a knife and like, "I'm gonna stab Thanos."
My thing was that his story was so close to our Loki's, right? No one else, right? All the other Lokis were like alligators, kids. I killed Thor. They had all these other things, but that Loki was basically our Loki, explaining his death in that same way.
Yep. So, except the difference was he actually did what we thought he should do, rather than that stupid stuff we saw on Endgame. You know.
Yes. Yeah. So, but then why did he have, I guess it was the whole character arc. Like, you know, he was finally a hero in that moment, and then he hit him with the. He hit him with the glorious purpose line right before he died. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Man, he got a hero's ending.
Absolutely.
I love that.
The only thing that ruins that idea, that theory for me is where the hell did he get that damn outfit? I know it's classic Loki and it's that outfit, but if that's our Loki,
where did he get that outfit from? Because he can manifest it just by thinking about it.
No, I know that. But I know that, of course. But my question is, if he is our Loki, right, from our timeline, and he's basically after the events of Thanos, and instead of him actually dying, it was a clone that died. And then, of course, as he says in his narrative, that he then he hid among the debris and landed on an island and a planet and lived there for the rest of his life, and he's become the king of isolation, right? During that time frame did the costume change was necessary? Because it seems like it's the only piece of the puzzle that does not fit that equation. The only piece. It could have been a more of an evolved costume.
He was there by himself, going crazy. He was just there, like, you know what? I'm tired of looking at myself.
Okay, I'm gonna put on a clown suit.
I'm gonna put on this.
I'm
tired of wearing this today. So Loki fashion show, and just walk the catwalk by himself on the catwalk. Yeah, I'm on.
With 15 other Lokis looking at him. I got you.
Now, so can we all agree that this Sylvia, who's supposed to be Loki, Sylvie, she's just the Enchantress. Like, that's it. They're not going to bring in another Enchantress into the MCU. That's just who she is.
Yeah. Oh, I see that. They've combined both entities of those characters into one. And since they have that now, there's just no way they're going to introduce a separate Enchantress. They basically turned Sylvie into the Enchantress. Makes sense. I mean, it's not like anybody had grand plans for the Enchantress or anything.
Right. You know what I really love in the I think it was maybe 2 episodes back, where Mobius was just like calling Loki out on his shit and saying, of course you're such a narcissist that you would fall in love with yourself. Like, that is such a perfect line for Loki. I think this show's really well written. Maybe some of the best written. No, I can't say that. I would say maybe WandaVision is the best, but like, WandaVision
actually touched on my heartstrings when she had to make that decision, you know, and then kill Vision and her kids, or they're not really dead, but just make them disappear. And man, that I felt. I
knew WandaVision
feel like feelings yet.
That's true. I knew WandaVision was serious the first time they argued.
Yeah,
you remember when they argued like past the credit scenes and they brought it back in, and that was like right before.
Back. Yes.
That, to me, you're right. I don't think Loki has surpassed that, but the character sort of dissection that happens in this of like that discussion of who Loki is and how Mobius kind of has him figured out and calls him on his shit. Like that to me just shows this crazy understanding of the character that you know, this is not like, well, let's movie the character up. This is like,
and they even take it to even a step further this episode, where even the Lokis themselves recognize what Mobius has already stated in previous episodes, and they say, and they go, and every time any of us tries to do better and break our cycle, the TVA comes and kills us. They recognize their faults. They try to break their cycle, and they recognize that that's the part that they will always play forever, or at least that's what they want them to play.
The god of outcasts. That was
yes, exactly.
That was great.
Yeah,
Loki can't get right, bro. Even if he try to do right,
yes.
He can't
If
help
you've seen the movie Life, Loki's can't get right.
Can't get right, indeed.
Okay, so I want to, unless you guys have anything else, theories. Next week is the final episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think this episode was great. It was just very MCU serving. Not more than that. It was great fun. It was awesome, well written, well put together. The CG was awesome, but
what you think
beyond
about
servicing the
story? Alligator Loki.
Hilarious when he bites off the dudes. When he bites off President.
I thought that President Loki was the same Loki that we were following when we saw the beforehand. I thought it was the same. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And they just used him. They used him for just a little funny, and then he was gone. You know, which is unfortunate. They should have kept him around much longer. When Alligator Loki bit off his arm, hilarious. The whole thing was like Animal House or something like.
This show really is not what I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was just going to be Loki going throughout time, messing stuff up, and it's just following him like Loki's the president. Loki, like how in the first episode, Loki was this guy who
DB Cooper.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a lot of that, but not at all.
So, how do we think the show ends?
Kang is in the castle. The Kang of the castle.
Yeah, but is it just like you end on a cliffhanger of Kang, or is it?
It's gonna show Kang, and as you're gonna see him again, and Doctor Strange too.
Nah, they're not gonna do that.
Well, because we know where the end is, right? The end happens when this metaverse situation goes completely haywire, right? We already are at a point right now where the quote unquote the all-seeing eyes have been found to be robots, and one of them has been decapitated, right? But still, they're on the level, right? Because they still have their henchmen still going out there in the TVA doing quote unquote the good work. So still, there's right now as we speak one single timeline still, right? So we already know that when this is all over, that is not going to be the case. It'll be split all over the place, right? So the question I have is, how will Kang, because Kang cannot show up in one episode and then get killed. That would be ridiculous. Right?
No, but Kang is in Quantumania.
Oh yeah. So he'll definitely make a
the next Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he'll definitely make a comeback. I guess when this is all said and done, obviously the TVA will be in shambles, right? Or they will defeat Kang, and doing so will then allow all the multiverses to then start flowing again. Because presumably if it is Kang, he is the one that is stopping the multiverse from flowing, right? Because every time a new branch comes, he prunes it, as it were, right? So if they figure this out and they get to him, obviously he'll escape because he's going to come back. But having him no longer doing that will then allow the multiverse to start flowing again, hence Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Theory.
So is Wanda definitely going to be in that movie? The Multiverse of Madness?
Isn't it called Wanda?
No, it's not called Wanda.
No. You're right. It was said, but it was never actually put into any kind of official.
I'm putting it out there now. I don't think she's going to be in it.
Here's why I say you're wrong.
I'd be surprised if she's not.
Because I was watching something on YouTube, and it said that on streaming, if you go back and watch WandaVision now, in the last episode, they changed like the CG and the graphics in the mountains to make it resemble something more in Doctor Strange, and you hear the Doctor Strange theme playing. They changed it after the fact.
The reason why I think
because it's streaming, they can just change stuff.
it's not even post, even during it, she was doing it because a bunch of, even though for a while now we've had Wanda, we've known of Wanda, we've dealt with a bunch of Wanda storylines. Not until WandaVision did they start talking about, oh, you have the same powers of the Sorcerer Supreme. Start teaching her basically all the things that we learned in the Doctor Strange movie. They basically threaded the needle on WandaVision. Like Agatha basically taught her that, hey, there's something called the Sorcerer Supreme, and you have powers that rival the Sorcerer Supreme. You can't drop those nuggets and then go, oh yeah, it's gone now. The next film, she will definitely be connected somehow, because within the MCU, she's not a mutant. Her powers aren't mutation based. Her powers are from the Sorcerer Supreme, the same source as Doctor Strange.
Infinity Stone, yeah.
That's right. So there's no way
but if
just like they're combining Sylvie and the sorcerer, they're doing the same here by making her powers related to his, even though realistically in the comics it's mutation.
I hear you, but what I am
saying, don't look into too much trouble and then not add her into the film that explores his powers.
Well, okay, I don't think you have to do that because you learn that in the show. And if you don't have to watch the shows, there's no need to sort of thread that needle.
But on that same
you can thread that needle in season 2.
No, I hear you, but on that same token, though, then that's also weird on the other side, because then you'll be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you'll miss that, and then all of a sudden your next Marvel movie where they're all together, Captain America will happen to be black, and that's a weird kind of, hey, what happened there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not at all. At the end of Endgame, he gave him the shield. If you come back to the next movie, he has the shield.
Yeah. But he just handed him the shield. That they didn't automatically give him a suit and everything else.
He said it's yours now. It's the MCU. We
get
the suit.
And then the next time he shows up with a suit and everything. Yes. Like, what happened?
Where did he get his wings from? He just showed up with those in Winter Soldier.
He explained that.
So you can explain that in the movie.
Like, come on. When you don't know him and he tells you where he got his wings from, that's a quick origin story.
It happened off screen.
Off screen. But turning him into full suited and everything off screen.
But you don't ask those questions when he shows up in other movies. You know that he's connected with the Avengers. You know he could get a suit if he needs it.
I hope okay, we can move on, but I hope they handle this better than that. I hope it's not a quick
I absolutely hope they don't waste time explaining that. They don't have to. And if you didn't see the show, you didn't need to see the show either. You know he got given the shield.
Not about,
you know he's an Avenger.
Having to see the show. It's not about not having to see the show.
I understand he got a new suit. And then all he has to say is, "Oh, they made this for me in Wakanda." One line. And you're up to speed, and the whole show was pointless.
And that whole show is needless.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Or they could just show it all in the Marvel, fonts in the beginning of it. Just show.
I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that out of spite. You didn't watch the thing. You don't get nothing. Don't worry about it. You don't watch the Disney.
I mean, I don't question when Tony shows up with a new suit. They don't show him making it every time. He just got a new suit.
He just showed up in Infinity War with the magic nanites.
Well, but that's different. Like Tony's stay making suits. The whole movie, most of the movies are him making suits. So when they don't show you him making another suit, they've shown you enough of him making the suit that you can just kind of go, oh yeah, he did it again.
Yeah,
that's
but
different.
They did enough off camera of Falcon getting his uniform,
becoming Captain America. Like that's
not. He gave him the shield. What are you saying, LeVar? What do you weigh in because
Tony,
he's gonna settle this for us.
Tony been making gear for all the Avengers. He probably just has computers or whatever that just makes them gear all the time.
Sure, exactly.
So you don't question when people show up with suits. It's like when we saw Age of Ultron or whatever, and then you saw that Captain America had the magnets in his stuff.
So you think consumers will just automatically think that, oh, Tony just made him a new suit? Cool.
No, whoever made it.
You'll assume because they'll say, "Oh,
Tony's technology ain't dead because what you call it is still getting new suits. Ain't he Spider-Man, right?"
I look forward to seeing how they thread this needle.
Happy and Pepper still run the shit. They all still get new clothes.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, Falcon is just gonna say, "You like this new Wakanda tech, don't you?" It's a half a second line. But anyway,
like you should have seen the suit that Tony made for you. But go on a record, do what kind of suit?
You should watch this whole Falcon and Winter Soldier episode where I got the suit. No.
I got this these trash goggles. But anyway,
no, but those trash goggles are actually Star Trek from way back.
Is his suit made with nanites, or he got to put it on?
He got to put it on.
First
It's
of all,
not like Tony Stark's suit.
He's wearing a tracksuit. I don't appreciate that suit.
And how you have a suit and don't have no helmet? Like somebody can't shoot you in the face.
Like somebody shooting in the head.
All right,
like,
so now
if you in the air, what you gonna do? Put both wings in front of you and then drop?
Yeah, his wings come over.
He did that like 5 times in the series.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do want to move on to more Marvel stuff before we get to the Tomorrow War. The What If trailer dropped today. What did we think about this?
Hype overload. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Super excited.
It looks better than every other show that has come out thus far.
And the animation reminds me of this old European Paris company. They used to do the same kind of animation.
It seems like it's 3D cell shaded. Yes,
cell shaded 3D, very specific to a style of. They made a movie that looked exactly like this. It was a Paris company. I forget the name of the company. I wish I could remember it. But yeah, I think it looks great.
Let me ask the real question.
Like I already thought, What If was going to be the best show, but from this trailer, it's definitely the best show. You get all the Marvel characters, you get the Marvel actors in it doing voices. We get to hear Chadwick for his final performance as Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
Well, technically, he's Star-Lord. He's not really Black Panther.
He's still
T'Challa. He's T'Challa.
Yeah. But although it did not sound like Robert Downey Jr. was
they couldn't afford. They wasn't paying his rate. Robert Downey Jr. got
the others are actually them, but Robert Downey Jr. is not him.
And I don't blame him.
Strange.
I don't blame him. But now, the thing is, what the real question I wanted to come to with this What If trailer is this a chance for Marvel finally, for once, to step up to DC's level with the animation? Because Marvel animated movies are trash.
Name the ones that are trash.
The ones I've seen.
Which are?
Name
one that you think is trash.
Didn't like it.
Oh, come on now.
You didn't like the Hulk versus Wolverine one? The Hulk versus one, and it's like he was versus Thor, and
I would say that there are more.
That was
the
good.
problem. The criticism
was it on the level of the DC stuff?
It's not enough of them. Yeah.
They're few and far between. That's the criticism that you should hit them with. Not that the quality isn't there, because when they do make it, it's quite good. It's on the level as DC in different ways.
And whoa, okay.
DC,
there's just not enough.
Need to hire these people who handle animated and to do their regular movies. At least some of them, man. Because I like all the animated movies except for The Killing Joke. I didn't like that. Batgirl thing.
Yeah.
No, say the thing.
You know what it is, man. It shall not be spoken.
No.
In the comments.
They got Batman out there sleeping with Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Disgusting.
Like
that's your best friend.
Your best friend. Since she was a little girl. What kind of grooming shit is? What kind of Woody Allen shit is that?
Don't mess with the Harrelson.
You picked the wrong Woody, man. Calm down.
I corrected myself before. I didn't even put the sun on it.
Expeditiously, you correct yourself.
Expeditiously.
About to earn your title, Slenderer Jr. What you doing there? That's right.
Don't besmirch his good name.
Okay. So,
but Woody Allen top scum.
Absolutely. But the point is. I just think DC animated movies are way better than Marvel animated movies, and Marvel live action movies are way better than DC live action movies.
I would agree with you on par with that. But honestly, I would think the reason why the DC ones are better is because there's more of them. They have had a better chance to really keep, really refining it. They keep
exactly,
and they just get better and better.
The cartoon business, but
which is weird. No. But I mean, like the straight for DVD, straight to home, like the thing that DC does right now. They are Marvel's kind of new at that. They haven't been doing that as much, which is strange.
Marvel just really does the stuff on Disney. The Spider-Man cartoons,
the
Avengers cartoons, just the TV
things
shows.
Like that. Yeah, they're not focused on that straight to DVD, like hardcore. Some of them are rated R. DC's been doing that for ages, but Marvel has not been doing that.
You maybe get one of those every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
it's like this weird thing because what Marvel does, because what DC does is take famous comic arcs and puts them into in animated movies, right? Like they're basically adapting.
Not all of them. Some of them are new ideas.
A lot of his original stories.
Some of them are new ideas too. Yeah, but they do. You're right. They do the Killing Joke kind of thing. Is what you're saying,
right? Yeah. So yes, but the thing,
Superman and whatnot.
What Marvel does is take those stories and incorporates them into their universe.
They're full films. Yes.
Right. DC has never really fully done that. Said I'm just gonna. They've taken inspiration here and there, but they've never really done those arcs where they name it after the arc. Like,
no, I see what you're saying. I see what their priorities are different. It's like Marvel is using their comic books as like draft scripts for their films, whereas DC's using their comic books as draft scripts for their straight to DVD business.
Yes,
and both of them are working really well.
Well, I mean, one's working a lot better than the other.
Sure, I was about to say, you think DC would like rethink their position and go, we're losing some of this gold to the DVD business. Let's like put this in the movie.
And the biggest problem with the DC movies is always around the scripts, right? It's not the action, it's not the special effects, it's not the casting, right? It's that their scripts don't tend to be as fleshed out since Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was that whole trilogy, Nolan's trilogy, was fleshed out.
Yeah. But am I wrong? But didn't the Dark Knight Nolan was really removed from DC, if I'm not mistaken. He really didn't. It wasn't like a DC production and Nolan was just brought on to direct. Like it was really his baby. Am I mistaken in that?
Yeah, but that is because the Batman franchise in terms of movies had failed so bad because of the Joel Schumacher.
They basically gave him the whole deal and said, "Save us." And so he basically did that.
Save us from the bat nipples and bat credit cards.
That's right, and that's why I think that's why the Nolan verse was so special. After he did that and he was ready, and obviously he's an auteur. He's like, I'm done. I'm out. They should have followed down his line because he saved y'all. He gave y'all like a new chance.
I still will, and I don't want to stay on this topic, but. I don't think Nolan's world that he created for Batman, I don't think it scales.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying they should add that to all the other characters. I'm saying keep it alive, keep this world going.
Keep it alive, but then you can only bring in the characters that are grounded and don't have superpowers. I think Nolan's world breaks, his Dark Knight world breaks once you add in like Superman and Flash and Wonder Woman. So you could bring in Arrow.
Bane becomes a moron. Like he becomes a fool in this world. Yeah, I get you.
All right. So now I want to move on to the Tomorrow War. Right now, there's a lot of theories here. LeVar, I know you haven't seen it, so I don't know if you're going to put us on mute or you're just going to hang out and get spoiled.
You should watch it, man. You should watch it.
Y'all could just look at Bill Cosby.
Yeah. So, all right. So, first of all, Kay, tell me what you thought about this movie because I have a lot of theories and thoughts and interpretations of what we got.
So, you and I had a brief discussion about this, I think, a couple of days ago, or yesterday or so, about it. And honestly, I think it's a hodgepodge. It's two extremes fused together quite nicely. I will say, cut to the chase. It is very enjoyable. It is highly enjoyable. You will sit down, you'll have a great time watching it, right? There's some dumb things in this movie, but there are also some very, very interesting ideas, like really genuine swings for the fences that work, all kind of mashed together in this film. Like, and I don't know, I think it was you who said this to me, and as you over the couple of days that I've had to think about it, it's actually really crystallized in my head.
Okay.
The protagonist is the problem.
Chris Pratt was the wrong casting for this.
He's the wrong choice. He really was the wrong choice for this.
And the reason for that is that I don't buy him as a scientist / war veteran.
Now, let's be clear. It's not that you don't buy him as a scientist / war veteran because he says his lines wrong or he fumbles them or whatever. They don't give him any lines to fumble. Like they say he's a scientist, but the only thing of intelligence comes out of his kid's mouth, not of his own. Like,
yeah, and also they want me to buy that he's like living this domesticated life, but really holding back these anger issues from sort of PTSD. And I don't. I didn't get that.
Yes.
Right.
I didn't buy any of that. That's right. Yeah.
I buy that from J.K. Simmons. I don't buy that from Bradley Cooper.
J.K. Simmons was boss in this movie. He basically played his position and played it quite well.
Now,
the good parts. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just before we get into the particulars, how do you feel about the sort of like blatant beat you over the head with this is an allegory for climate change? Right? No. Because like, think about this, right? The people of the future, our children in the future who are leaving with a world that will be ravaged as a result of climate change, are coming back to us and saying, you need to do something about this world that you ruined for us. And you need to go fight that war and fix that problem.
And fix it for us.
And you go in the future and deal with what we have to deal with. And if you didn't get that, even though it's sitting right there on your nose, later on find out that the reason the aliens took over is because the polar ice caps melted. So,
and that part, I could smell that coming a mile away. Like, what? I could smell it coming a mile away. I wrote that one in my head 10 minutes in. Oh yeah, the reason why they did not know how they got here, they just showed up one day. Oh God, they were here the whole time. They were probably frozen under ice. That's the first thing I thought of.
But again, if we dealt with climate change, the ice would have never thawed out, and they would have never taken over the world.
Indeed.
So yeah, I don't know that they needed to be so heavy-handed with that metaphor. Yes, it's like one of those things. Okay, I get it. All right, I get it.
Yes.
Okay, you're not that clever. I got it. Thanks. But
that's one of the dumb parts for me. Yes, indeed.
So there was that part of it, and the thing that gave it away before they even talked about ice caps or anything, I'm like, okay, these guys are aliens, right? And if you're going to travel from another planet, you have to be way more advanced than we are. And the way these things are,
and all that, yes,
they are moving like they are, like they don't have minds, like they're just
they're visceral animals.
Right?
Yes,
right. And so, how could visceral animals that move and behave that way
pilot a starship and find their way to Earth?
Build a starship,
pilot
it.
No. We're cutting to the chase.
Have a work drive.
Build an environment. Have a society, be able to then get to a place where you can get warp engine technology to then build the starship to then get
then find a star system that has the same building blocks of life that are in your star system, and still be able
I don't remember if they said this out and out. Maybe I missed that as part of this movie. I was actually planning on rewatching it before our conversation, but too much stuff happened and I wasn't able to do that. But do you recall what their explanation was for? Like, I know that it was definitely explained that these were dropped off to do the clearing for them, right? But was there sentient beings that drop these things off? Is that
yes? Because they were hanging upside down in the ship. The sentient beings.
Yeah, the beings themselves were hanging upside down in the ship.
And they had faces that looked like Garrus from Mass Effect.
Yeah, yes, I do recall that. Okay,
right.
Okay.
So there was that. So we discussed my issues with casting. Like I said, Bradley Cooper.
No, and I agree with you. I think
who I would have casted for this movie.
The parts that are clunky for me, now that since having a conversation with you about it, the parts that are clunky for me would have been fixed by someone else, because then the words coming out of their mouth would be more believable. The science aspect of it would probably be emphasized a bit more. This guy is just not good at convincing me he is that guy. He can convince me he's a ex-veteran, okay, because I can see him in that position, and when I see him making those movements, I go, okay, that's more his speed. He's more okay with this. right? But being a science teacher, being a parent, being a, all those other things they added on top was more to me more labels than actually his part of his personality, because it didn't translate. Except
No,
the
I
whole,
mean,
hey, I'm a military guy.
I buy the domestic. The military guy is the part that I didn't buy. Scientists as well, but I buy the domesticated guy who's good at using guns, things like that. Good father, good husband part. Chris Pratt speaks to all of that. I just don't buy him as that as a character that has that sort of duality of I'm a scientist, because all those things do not make for a charismatic, family man, right?
Yeah.
If you're that smart, you're probably antisocial.
Yeah,
and
it
if you
requires
had that
a
many
level
issues,
of commitment. Yeah.
If you had that many issues, sort of, if you went to war and that affected you in a way, I don't buy you as making like life of the party that kind of
you're not this quippy guy.
Yeah, not life of the party is the wrong word. You absolutely can be life of the party, but not what Chris Pratt gave off
was given.
So
I agree with you.
Those three ideals, you know what I'm saying? School teacher who wants a science job, super smart, smartest in the world scientist to figure out time travel, and then like war vet who has mental scars, like all those things into one don't really merge. And maybe no one can do that, but definitely I don't think Chris Pratt was for that. So
I've seen some actors do that. I mean, we don't have to pull movies now, but I think we've seen some actors pull that off.
I said it when we talked. I think Matthew McConaughey could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Bradley Cooper.
You Bradley Cooper. You thought John David Washington.
Yeah.
Who I disagree with. I actually wouldn't want to see a black guy in that role because of the story element where his father left him and then he left his family, and I don't want to see that again in a movie where a black guy is leaving his family. That's
just you making sure propaganda isn't thrown in with your entertainment. That's neither here nor there.
I don't know. Nothing wrong with propaganda. I'm just saying if we're gonna do propaganda, I want the propaganda to be not the right way. I want it to be in my favor. I'm selfish.
I get it. But in a vacuum, I hear you. In a vacuum, with that equation not being a factor,
can't look at it in a vacuum. But go ahead.
I think a black protagonist would have worked in this role. A nice black, charismatic, because you wanted a bit of charm, and the charm that was on offer was a little too goofy for my
Will Smith.
That's what I said. I said that. I said Will would have knocked it.
He would have knocked it out of the park. That's not what we want.
Yes. Well, and I hear you for all the other reasons. I totally do. And we've had enough of that. So yes, I'm there.
So now what I really wanted to talk about, it's what I really enjoyed about the movie, and then we're going to talk about what I disliked, but and what you disliked. How they explain the time travel was something I do not think I've seen anyone do in a time travel movie before, and I thought it was a very interesting hook. Where they say, okay, because I looked at this, I'm like, I don't buy these people as like war-torn soldiers that have lost the war. They look too young. They look too. I was like, is this some kind of CW shit?
Yeah, they're young and cute, and they have little scars on their face, like they was.
It's like, oh, that's nice. Look at you. You guys are probably gonna be in a love triangle later on in your telenovelas, right? But when they explained the reason why they were all young is because they didn't want to cause a paradox.
Yep.
The people who went back to the past cannot have been born yet, and the people who go to the future must already be dead, right? Because you can't bump into yourself in this alternate timeline, right? And to me, that was super interesting. And when they talked about how no matter where you are, time only flows in one direction.
Although only one character in that film technically breaks that rule.
Okay, tell me about this.
The daughter, because she came to the past as well.
No, she didn't. She never did.
Yes, she did.
She never came to the past.
She was in the past too.
She wasn't. No, she was not.
We never saw her in the past.
We never saw her in the past. She never went to the past. Never once.
Sure about that? Oh yeah, they actually had her. They had jumped to the future before they saw her. Okay,
Exactly.
I'll give you that. Okay. That saves that for me. Okay, continue.
Now. So that to me was super interesting. The idea that time only flows in one way.
They spent a lot of time.
So
like,
if you
ideating on that,
if
really
you
good.
go to the future and you stay there for 2 weeks, right, and then you come back to the past, 2 weeks will have passed since the time you left.
You left, yes.
Right. So what that says to me is that the act of going back effectively created a new timeline, a new universe as they went back. This is why they said
it's just branching paths.
Yes. This is why they said we can't be saved. Yep. The daughter kept saying that to him. Like, we already lost this war. We're basically creating a new reality so that you guys can have a chance.
Yep.
Right? So that again to me was super interesting. And this is why she said it wasn't about that I'm going to die right now. They're all going to take over here. Our world's already too torn up for us to come back.
Yep.
So just go and fix yours. So a lot of people thought he should or wanted him to, try to find a way to go back and save his daughter when he couldn't, because you can't go back in time again. Right. The machine got broken, so he actually couldn't.
And even if he could go back and save her again, save her and do what? Bring her back to the past and then create that paradox?
Yeah, you can't do that. Right. And
you at least see who she will become, and now you can save her for your version of her.
Right. But him saving her in the past or saving the world in the past does not save his future daughter. Because that is a completely different
timeline. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So
very, very, very well thought out. Very much in the Loki branching paths variant.
I think it's a lot better than what.
Oh no! They
explained
it. They're on the same theory, but these folks explained it better. They did it in a much easier way. Which is really cool. Which then means if you have a scenario in which you have these bridges set up, you can just keep jumping into the past timelines as long as those bridges are available to be jumped to, even though they all flow in the same direction. It's like a river going downhill, down a one-way river.
But now my question is, when they first jump back, I guess, okay, so you jump back and then you can build a bridge back to the future.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be in the future. I guess you could do it in the past. You could jump. If it only moves one way, can you use that version as your beacon and then go back into another past date? Like, can you go back into the 90s from the new timeline they created?
I mean,
and then go back and then build a new one?
They didn't explain the intricacies of the technology. They just explained it at a high level that it basically was a bridge between 2 points. So presumably, let's say you go back to the 90s, you can build another one and calibrate it, providing that the resources are there, and calibrate it to go even further back and further back. And then as long as those bridges still exist, you can just keep hopping between them. Obviously, if you break a bridge and you don't have the resources to build a new one, you're stuck there. Right. Yeah, it makes sense. Their theory of it is more well thought out. You're right than almost any other show or movie that has attempted to use these ideas. They did a really good job with it.
And another thing I think they did really well with was the action scenes. I liked the monsters. And another thing we said like offline is they were touching on a lot of Prometheus vibes in this thing.
Yeah, right? Very origin story of Prometheus. Very, very much, very much. They changed certain things to, there are changes there, but it's still the same basic through line.
It's this white xenomorphs. That's it.
And they are very just like the initial xenomorphs were scary for their time. These guys knocked it out of the park with their creature design. Like, wow. Very well done.
And another thing is, was there only one queen?
It seemed that way.
So why didn't they nuke it?
Yeah. That is the question, isn't it? It
Right?
seemed like there was only one queen.
Anyways,
it's a queen, right?
Yeah. Now let me tell and I'll just want to say this last thing that I didn't like. I didn't like the guy from Veep. You know, the kind of black guy that was there for the comedy relief. Like I think he works
relief guy.
He works really well in Veep, but in this, like his shtick kind of wore thin.
Went too far.
Wore thin very soon. So I could have done without him. And I actually could have done without that last act. Right? If you just showed that he saved the world with the science, that was good enough. Weird. I didn't need that stupid action scene at the end. And conveniently, all the future people died in that explosion in the end.
It's like the movie's over, but then the stuff that's left to your imagination, they have to actually show you that part too. That part was strange to me. And it made it extra long. They could have done without that, I think.
You could have made a new movie out of that. Like a part 2 is like, okay, now we're gonna go. There were more left under the ground. Like, how cool would an after credit scene have been if it was just like, hey, they're under the ground, they're coming out. I was hoping it was an after credit scene.
By the time you find them and they're close to finding the spaceship, boom, the spaceship takes off.
Yeah, or
with one of them in it,
or you really could have said, you know how you end that movie? Boom, we have our new poison bullets, and then when they first emerge, they just show all the soldiers there waiting for them.
Exactly.
Maybe put Chris Pratt on the front lines. He's telling them what to do.
Speaking of the poison bullets, here's my question: why the hell, if they knew about this poison bullet situation, right? It was all theoretical. We know that. Yes, we went through the whole movie. Why would you throw like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people at the problem when you could have just focused all your energies on building that and bringing it back in the first place, rather than
the queen?
Like it seemed like it was fodder for so much reason.
Yeah, it was spite, because I said again, this was a metaphor for climate change. So we are going to take you and let you experience what.
No, I hear that. I hear what you're saying, but that is the meta view. I want an explanation that makes sense within the frame of the film, not the meta view.
The verisimilitude of it all.
Yes, I want to understand why it is that when it was all said and done, they followed what they were supposed to do, which was grab the venom they needed, come back to the past, so that they can build something, so that the future will hopefully be saved due to this. Why did you guys not come to the past with that as your mission, instead of coming and using the admittedly really cool CG tech to like swim people up to go be fodder and get murdered for no reason? Like,
because this is your fault. We all got murdered. Now you didn't.
So we just have to come here and make sure you feel our pain for no reason when we had a different solution the whole time. That's a dumb.
No. There was literally no like his daughter basically set millions of people to die from the past
for no reason,
just to bring her father, and
for no reason. You could have easily pinpointed and gone to him because you know where he lives,
and he didn't help her.
He didn't do anything.
They literally found a solution in one day.
Yeah, you see, right? This is where I think
all we gotta do is grab some blood, and then we're gonna run it through this computer thing, and boom.
This is where I think it's stupid, because like I didn't come up with the solution. You all came up with the solution. And when y'all came up with the solution, you did it after you murdered millions, presumably, of people. When you could have just skipped all that part.
You guys, because of not taking care of the planet, caused the death of billions. So
yeah, let's have you. Right. Let's see. Well, but hold on. They didn't even know that it's because of not treating the planet well. Because the people in the future didn't know that it was because of the ice caps that had melted. They didn't know, right? It took Mr. Show Me Not Tell Me Not Show Me science guy to put 2 and 2 together. The people in the future who could build a freaking spaceship were not able to investigate to figure out where these guys came from. Oh, they just showed up and they moved on with their lives. They didn't even bother investigating. This guy from the past had to tell them, "Oh, they've been there since this time in this place, and let's go track them down." They took a grade schooler who happens to love volcanoes to tell them, like, what
Right,
happened?
like none of the geologists in the world can
None of
tell
the
you
brilliant
this.
scientists who built a freaking bridge out of sticks and stones. Basically, they said it. They built the whole teleportation device, the whole time machine out of parts because they could do the best they could. They did that, but they didn't know. It took a grade school volcano lover to thread the needle so they know. Oh, it wasn't from here, Russia. They landed in. Come on, there's the stupid parts of the equation for me.
Okay, to be fair, like they took the claw and then they conveniently found some trace elements of the volcano that was in
sure, but
Asia, right?
I get that, but that is maybe step 3, step 4. How about step 1? How did they get here? So no one noticed any radar, anything like that. They didn't get here, and we know they're not from here. So let's investigate that part. It took dude a while, but he figured that part out. That is your logical frame. I just find it surprising that they show up presumably with a plan, and their plan is to murder as many people as possible. And everybody's like, okay.
Let me ask you another question. Because what I thought they were going for was that they weren't aliens at all. They were just like from the prehistoric era. They were left over, and when the polar ice caps melted or froze or whatever during the ice age, they just migrated underground, and no one has ever dug that far.
That's right. That's what I thought too. Yeah,
here the whole time.
Exactly. 10 minutes in, when they said they just showed up. We don't know where they came. I thought, oh, this is one of those kaiju situations. They've been in the center of the earth the whole time. I thought that's what we were going for. Right?
Because there's still parts of the ocean we haven't explored yet.
We haven't explored yet. That's right.
All kinds of like sea creatures that we have no idea what they look like.
To this day, there are new types of insects that are discovered in the rainforest that we've never come across every day to this day. So, the earth is still full of wonders we don't understand. So I suspected that's where they were going. Since they didn't go there, the whole spaceship thing,
to me was lip service. Yeah, like that's all it was. Like, why do you need to show this spaceship? And how the hell did you get into Russia? And like the idea that, hey, we believe that the future war is coming, so we're not going to go and send a whole crew to where you can stop it, especially the science checks out that you have
this ragtag band of buddies who are just going to go there and save the world just themselves. They're not going to hand this information to, this dude shows up, right, from the future, as they all do, right? We all know that he is the father of the savior of the future, right? We know this. And he has come back. And when he came back, he was shaking and whatever, and he has in his hand this vial. We leave it in his hand. Let him hold this vial while we're saving his life the whole time. Let him go home with the damn vial and then make his own plan about what to do with the fucking vial. We wouldn't debrief him.
Humanity.
We wouldn't no, we're back in the past. We wouldn't debrief him. What's in your hand? What does this mean? No, we're just gonna let him go home.
Oh no, this is just a naked drink. It's the green machine.
It's the green drink. What the fuck? These are the parts where I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Where are we? This had the potential to be Independence Day for a new generation.
Well, let me put it to you.
It did.
Let me go a step further. I was so impressed with their explanation of an implementation of time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Like they explained in less than 5 minutes what it took Christopher Nolan 2.5 hours of smelling his own farts in Tenet to explain.
I knew he was going to Tenet.
Way more. It was way easier to follow, but also more complex and makes more sense. Like all of that, I needed that person to come in and do the Tenet story. Now, also, I've seen people write that Tenet is really like a metaphor for the editing process. in filmmaking, so you know the end before the beginning.
Before
and then
you know the beginning. Yeah. I get you. Okay.
So it's really a love letter to filmmakers. But I would like to talk to a filmmaker who could make sense of that.
Because if you do that, isn't that a very small group, and you piss off the masses who go and see who don't get what the hell you're trying to say?
But Christopher Nolan has like weird fans the way Zack Snyder and Elon Musk does. So like he can do it, and even if people don't understand it,
I resemble that remark. I'm a staunch Elon Musk and Zack Snyder fan. So there you go.
Yeah, and anytime you see people say anything, you dig your heels in deeper because you don't want to admit that you have this unhealthy affection for these creative people.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. I'm ready to criticize when their criticism is warranted. I think, like as with most things we discuss, I think folks spend too much time on the slogans and not the nuances behind them. So you hear something and you go, even though if you actually dig into it, you find that it's not as bad as you think, or there's more nuance there. People are just too busy with the headlines. That's why usually I won't go crazy to the left or crazy to the right because everybody says so. There's always a happy medium somewhere. And most of their stories actually bring that to fruition. It's just most people don't pay attention, needless to say. But yes, anyway, I enjoyed this film. I thought it... What saddens me about it is, you remember that time of Independence Day. It became a cultural thing where every year this film needs to be rewatched. I think only the Independence Day Part 2 coming out and ruining what they had built kind of like lost it. The main Independence and Independence Day 1 lose its shine a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just like what's that Mariah Carey song they play? All I Want for Christmas Is You. They play that every year. Independence Day became a ritualistic watching experience. You'd find it on some channel every year around this time because people love it so much. Yeah, people don't watch it in years, but it's on TV all the time. They could have done that with this. This had that opportunity because the sparks are there for this kind of rah-rah, fun popcorn. Again, Chris Pratt ruined that whole situation. Honestly,
are you saying Chris Pratt ruined this movie? Is that what you're saying right now?
No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't go all the way.
Ruined the movie for you?
I wouldn't go all the way and say that he ruined the movie, but he made it less than it should have been. Had a more charismatic person been put in that position, I think it would have elevated the material a bit more. You know what?
They should have gave it to Richard E. Grant. That's all I'm saying, man.
Well, remove the veteran sections, and Richard E. Grant would have kicked butt and taken names. Yes, indeed.
All right. So now, what do you score this movie, and will it get a sequel? And if it does, are you looking forward to it?
I hope it gets a sequel. But not with Chris Pratt, which is highly unlikely because probably it's gonna be his vehicle. Jesus. I score this thing probably a 7 out of 10 right now. Like it's fun.
I don't like any of the Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movies.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I don't like those. It's just they're shallow outings. Yes, they don't have soul to them. The only thing that I have watched that I think he's good in is being Star-Lord, and that's an ensemble thing. Even without him there, that movie would still be pretty damn great with all the other characters. I'm not taking away his shine. I'm not saying I hate his character or anything like that. It's just I have not seen anything that he's been in that I really went like. I want to see that movie he did with the movie he did with Jennifer Lawrence.
I've seen it.
Space. Is it not good?
I've seen it. It's.
Is it worse than? Is it worse than Chaos Rising, which seems like the same movie?
I haven't seen Chaos Rising.
Chaos Rising is Daisy Ridley and what's that?
Yeah. The new one from where you see the men's thoughts. I didn't see it. I thought it was ridiculous.
That was a horrible movie and a horrible script. And what's up?
Just because you mentioned Chris Pratt and Jurassic Park, I would say that the only good Jurassic Park movie is the first one.
Yeah.
No, the second one was okay too. I like the second one. I
It was
thought
okay.
it wasn't.
better
It
than the
wasn't.
first?
Absolutely not. But it was
So the only
still.
good one was the first
It
one.
was still tolerable. And
It was tolerable.
And in the in the third one, they brought back Grant.
Yeah, but
so
that doesn't make it good.
So the first three.
When you first seen the dinosaurs for the first time,
yeah,
and
but
then it's like they made you believe they was real.
That but
that first one was magical. That's right. That first one was absolute magic. None of them will ever reach that height.
Like the animatronics with the CG, it was like seamless.
It was magical.
The first Jurassic Park was so good that if science actually brought back dinosaurs, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
right. I was like, I've seen this already.
They were real.
Yeah. Yeah, they really convinced people that it was time. Let's do this. Let's bring the Jurassic Park.
It was completely believable.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't think I was looking at a fake thing. It looked tangible.
So let me tell you, side note, my 4-year-old loves Jurassic Park. Like she's never seen the movie, but she in the years since, there's been a lot of Lego cartoon variations. There's Lego video games. So she's all about dinosaurs in general. She's 4. And she's all about Jurassic Park. There's the Isla Nublar. There's a TV show called that, which is all basically Lego Jurassic Park is the TV show. And she so badly wants me to let her watch this first movie, and I'm just like, I don't think she's old enough for that. When that T-Rex comes out,
let her do it. Let her watch it. Yes,
this is too much, man.
It's crazy
she wants to watch it so bad.
It's crazy to me that the dinosaurs in the first Jurassic Park are more believable than the ones now because they just use CG all the time.
Yeah.
But there was CG in the first Jurassic Park. It's just
but they used so much animatronics that it blended. You know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, anytime that they were on camera with a person, it was animatronics. Yeah. But if it was a far away shot and you wanted to show them running,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or the really huge ones, and they showing them they got to move and do complicated movements, then it's CG.
But again, to edit it in such a way and shoot it in such a way to where they blended that so to when it counts, that's when they were using the real stuff. But now this has become the Jurassic Park.
Man, gotta get it off the rails
on the Jurassic Park.
Indeed,
but every show we gotta go off the rails, man.
That's what it's
on the reel goes off the rails. That's what happens.
Yes.
We need like a decal or something, right? Like off the rails logo. Yeah.
Off the rail.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. Final thoughts on Tomorrow War. I give it an 8. There was a lot of things that make no sense, but if it was in the theater, I would have given it a 7. But because I got to watch it in the comfort of my own home opening night, it gets an extra point for that.
So it gets an extra point for not being a theatrical experience.
Absolutely.
I thought that would be a detriment, not a plus.
No. Have you seen my surround sound system?
Okay.
Have you seen the OLED?
You mad because I'm styled.
I have the OLED. I have the same OLED.
So you know what it is then.
I know what it is. Indeed.
You know what the Dolby Atmos and the Dolby Vision is like.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and that's why the question of will you watch it in the movies? I'm just like, I have to really want to.
No, I have to. It's not even about like if you say only in theaters. Yeah. And it's not like a dedicated window where it's like, okay, well, it's only 30 days. Like 30 days, I might be able to wait. 45 days is pushing it. But even if I know for a fact, if you say like, 45 days, it's definitely it'll be ready for you to watch. I might go wait. But with the Marvel movies, you can't. You got to watch them opening weekends because people.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to get
their
stolen
thumbnails.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you feel like there's a rush to see the Black Widow movie because at the end of the day, isn't it inconsequential since she's already dead and it takes place in the past?
I think
we are talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe with multiverses, right?
The Marvel Cinematic, the Marvel fake death universe.
Bring her back?
Oh hell yeah! Come on now. There's no way. It's either the way they're going to replace her with Pew, but they're not going to replace her with Pew. They're going to
no. Let me put it to you in a different way. How many people died in Endgame?
Exactly.
Nobody, bro.
Nobody.
No. But name them. Okay, Tony. Who else? Let's go. Thanos. Coming back in Eternals.
Spider-Man.
No, not like from the snap. I'm saying the people that like died.
Oh, like really?
Alternate universe Gamora.
Alternate universe Gamora, but there's already another Gamora there.
Regular Gamora died too. She's back.
Yeah, she's back.
Vision died. He's back.
Vision died. He's back. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
He's white now. Vision's white now.
Nebula. Alternate Nebula died.
Yep. But see, none of the characters died.
Right?
None of them died.
Everybody that died is back, and we think Black Widow ain't coming back.
Ain't coming back. Like, come on. And they're giving her a show after she's dead.
No one coming back?
T'Challa. On that note, what the hell, man? You had to ruin that.
Jesus, that's the way we end this.
Facts. I'm sorry, R.I.P. Chad.
Look, man,
he's coming back in What If.
But he can only do so much, okay? He can only do so much.
Speaking of people we lost, we lost 2 people this week. And if you know, what Deborah, what is her last name? You don't know her last name, do you?
Who are you talking to?
I was about to say,
who are you talking about? The mother from the Parenthood.
Yes, but her name. What was her name?
Hold up. Yeah, you should have primed the pump, man. So you looked her up real quick. you should have DM'd real quick so we could have looked it up real quick.
This is terrible.
Wow, terrible. Why did you start with Richard Donner until you had that?
That's right.
Absolutely not. Suzanne Douglas.
How you gonna bring it up and then you don't know it and then put it on us?
Fire, like for real, and then put people on the spot. Like, what's going on?
You guys have no respect. Suzanne Douglas.
We got no respect.
We lost Suzanne Douglas, and
she was in some great stuff, man. She was in The Inkwell.
Indeed.
She was in The Mother and the Parenthood. She was in Stella's Got a Groove Back. I know all the stuff she was in. You know how you know people in movies, but you just don't know their name, but you know you've seen
that person from that movie. Yeah.
I know. I liked her as an actress. Everything she was in was a good movie. Everything I saw her.
Only 64 years old,
which is so young. Like what happened?
Nobody. They haven't said. And we also lost. You see how we know the white man's name, Richard Donner.
Yes, because
come on now. You can't do that. To be fair, he happened to be the director of one of the most famous many famous movies of all time.
So everybody hears Richard Donner. They think the Donner cut. They think Superman, with Christopher Reeves. But did you know that he also directed the
Goonies, man? Come on.
Thank you for stealing that from me. I was gonna.
Yes, bro.
You didn't that picture, we knew that.
He made us believe a man could fly.
Yeah, that's right. Huh?
That first Superman film still holds up. The rest of them trash, but the very first Superman to me is still the best Superman movie. Yeah, Henry Cavill, he did some cool, Superman punching people through buildings or whatever, but
Henry Cavill can't act.
Just the simpleness when he would bank.
Have you seen him in The Witcher?
Man, come on, man.
He can act it.
He doesn't get better than that. It's crazy how certain movies just.
You disagree?
Yes, I disagree. What are you talking about?
You think he did a bad acting job in The Witcher?
I know he does a serviceable job, but he's sort of a one-trick pony, right? Like he doesn't have
many. Look. There are many one-trick ponies in Hollywood. That's becoming Hollywood. The time of the superstar has ended. There's only a few of them left. Come on now. We talked about Tom Cruise in such glowing terms because he's one of those people that are left. Many of these guys are nothing but one-trick ponies. Come on now.
The only time you've ever seen Henry Cavill show emotion is when he snaps Zod's neck. Yeah! That's it. That's the only time he ever showed emotion.
When he was crying for his mother.
He's like, still.
All right. So just some of the stuff, if you didn't know, obviously Superman, but also the Goonies, also the Lethal Weapon trilogy, right?
Yep.
That was all Richard Donner. I don't know if you remember a movie called Timeline. I do remember that.
Yes,
remember the movie with Sylvester Stallone and Antonio Banderas, Assassins?
Mm-hmm. Great movie.
Right?
Great movie. I like that movie. Yeah.
Another good movie with what's his name? William Wallace. Why can't I think of his name? He was also the lead in Lethal Weapon. What's his name? The anti-Semitic guy. What's his name?
Mel Gibson.
Yes, Mel Gibson. Conspiracy Theory. Good movie.
Yes.
Right. He directed that as movie. Well.
Yeah. Remember, Mel Gibson used to be, every movie he touched was hot back in those days. He has a lot of movies himself as well.
Yeah, and another movie that I really enjoyed, which was the last one that he did, was 16 Blocks. Right? Remember with
Mos Def
and Mos Def, yes.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That was
very good. Yeah. That's when I saw that. Hey, Mos Def can act. He's not bad. That man's not bad.
Yeah, and then he just stopped acting.
You want to know why? Because he got blackballed because he didn't want to play the gay rapper in Tropic Thunder. That's what ended his career.
I believe it.
He was just there like, I can't be a gay rapper, because it's like, I rap for real. Like, I take this seriously. He's just like, I'll be a gay R&B singer. I'll be whatever. But it's just like, I can't do that. And he felt like he already did it with Thugnificent on the Boondocks or whatever. He's just like, I don't want to do that. So blackballed.
Because he didn't want to do it again. Not because he...
I mean, doing it in a cartoon and then being there and
doing it.
I don't want to
clown him. Yes.
I don't want to get all into
that. Would have ended his rap career.
Not today, but back then maybe.
Which ended his rap career anyway, because he's had to use his own name to get around Mos Def. They're not allowing him to release any new albums anyway.
Yasin Bey is what he calls himself now.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've seen his latest rant on some podcast he did with Talib and talking about, putting out music and streaming. And he's just there like it's a cold mother effer who thought I'm going to split a penny into fractions on what they pay people in streaming. He's just there like, if y'all want it, it's just there like, you're going to have to buy it from me directly. And you can't tell me.
He started this thing in New York where you can actually go and buy it locally. Like it's a visual album that you can actually go to a place and do weird stuff.
I get it, because unless you are one of these newer artists who are getting playlist placements, and so they make sure your numbers stream high, because that can be faked. That's like, he has to sell you his own album because they're paying you pennies.
I don't even know if the business is to like sell music anymore.
Older artists is not going to sell. I mean, they need to buy it. Younger artists stream, but older artists, they don't stream numbers high like that, because the record label is not paying.
The thing is, older artists have fans that are used to buying music, so that's the thing. A new artist is not going to get. A new artist is not going to get people to go out and buy a record. Just because
come to their show,
right? So it's different lanes that you can play, and then that again, it is on the music podcast. So, all right, that is it. That's all I have. What are we going to be watching this week? I know the answer already. It's Black Widow, but give me something else. I am going to be watching Fear Street 1978, which is part 2 of the Fear Street trilogy. That's what I'm watching this weekend. Mr. Johnson, we didn't skip past you in the beginning, but I'll let you go first now. What are you going to be watching this week, sir?
Besides Loki, not much.
Damn.
I have no plans. I mean, I the same thing I always watch, Steve. It's just like wrestling documentaries. Even beyond that, I watch wrestling documentaries on YouTube. It's just interesting to me to see, these people who were our heroes and where their lives are at now. And how many of them died. It's so much, dark history with it. Vince McMahon is going to hell. If hell is a place, Vince McMahon is going.
Okay. Mr. K. Asante, what are you watching?
Real quick.
What will you be watching? Black Widow doesn't count.
Black Widow, yes. I'm actually trying to finagle my wife to watch Fear Street with me. I want to do the 1994 one, so maybe I will come back and say I've watched that. I'm trying to watch it with her, so we'll see how that goes. Real quick, the callback, and I needed to say this, and I totally forgot. While we were talking about Loki, what did you guys think of the soundtrack? Real quick, did you notice something?
Score is pretty damn good.
I will say this is my weird theory. Nobody believed me, and then I played it side by side, and my wife went, "You were on to something." They owe Timbaland some credit. As soon as I heard this whole album, this episode, my first thing was there's a track by Missy Elliott called "Sock It to Me." I don't know if you've ever heard it before.
Sock It to You.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly. There's a riff that Loki plays every time the evil cloud shows up. Exactly that riff. I mean, it pointed me. It was ridiculous. Needless to say. So yes,
that's actually an old song. Ready or Not, Here I Come.
I know. Ready or Not, Here I Come. Yes, but there's a specific riff in there that seems like it was pulled straight out of that song. And every time they wanted to build up tension, they played that, and I'm like, sound like Timbaland. Absolutely weird. Anyway,
Robin Thicke could get sued.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sure Marvel paid for it. If they,
I mean, you can look at the credits.
ABC doesn't own the rights.
But yes, needless to say,
maybe Timbaland.
I may be one of the rare humans on Earth that heard that and put those together, and I was just like, that just sounds too much alike. Anyway. So yes, I will be watching the Resident Evil show. The problem is, Netflix is being uncharacteristic, and they're doing it week to week instead of dropping the whole thing.
No, but it's not. That's the thing. We got to understand. It's not about that. It's nothing to do with that. Netflix is still doing their. This is not a series. It's 3 movies.
Because it says season 1.
What, on Fear Street?
Oh no! Oh, maybe you got me confused. I was talking about. I was talking about. What do you call it? Resident Evil. The new.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know about that. I know
Fear Street is a movie. 3 movies. Yes,
and that's why it's coming out week to week. So that makes sense. They're not like scared of the Disney 100%, and Amazon.
100%. No, I was talking about Resident Evil. Like, it's unusual that they're dropping it, or maybe I didn't see that correctly, but I thought they were dropping it piecemeal instead of just dropping the whole thing in a binge model. But needless to say, I'll be excited to dig into that. I don't know if there's anything really new out right now that I'm kind of excited about. I'm trying to get ready for this. Get ready for Black Widow. That seems to be taking up. That's going to be taking up our lives in the next couple of days. And I want to watch Fast 9. I want to watch that.
That's on my list.
I want to see what it's about.
And still, also,
I will watch that right after the 45-day window.
But the Long Halloween part 2 of that.
Okay. Yes, part 2. That's coming soon too. Yes.
Also, before we forget, because you said we'll talk about it later, Steve, the Hugh Jackman Wolverine thing, Kevin Feige.
I completely forgot about that.
But come on now. Who didn't think that was going to happen? Like, we knew that was going to happen.
I've been saying for years that it wasn't going to happen.
He wasn't going to do.
You thought I was. You
come on, seriously,
man. But I knew it all along, Steve.
Seriously,
I knew it all along.
It's ridiculous that you thought it was going to happen
from rip, and you said nah.
Now here's an interesting question: is he going to cameo a bunch? Or is he going to have his own full movie?
No, he's going to be in a scene at a bar, and he's going to say, "Go fuck yourself," and then he's going to, and then they're going to go to the next.
But
I suspect it'll be more than that, but not too much more than that. I don't think, because I don't think he wants to get jacked anymore. Hugh Jackman wants to not get jacked anymore.
He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to, man. He's going to be wearing the suit.
He could come in and literally.
You think it's going to be tiger stripe suit or brown and yellow?
I think brown and yellow.
I think no suit. I don't.
It's MCU. He has to wear a suit. Everybody gets comic accurate suits.
Do they though?
Yes.
Not really.
Or at least
they get
most of
somewhat.
Them, a lot of them, somewhat comic accurate. Like,
have you seen Falcon recently? Have you seen him recently?
If you watch the TV shows, yes, completely comic accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's the thing. I think what's the possibility he could just be playing another character, like not Wolverine?
Oh, that would be insane.
He wouldn't put the claws up.
Insane.
Because
are you serious?
Both things.
They're going to do the Quicksilver thing with Hugh Jackman?
They did it once. They did it once.
And what happened when they did it once with a small little bit character? People shitted all over them for that. they're gonna do that with Hugh Jackman, like Wolverine.
Definitely.
That would be nuts.
I've seen a lot of people commenting like that Logan was such a good send off. They don't want to see him do it.
I agree, but
I still want to see it do it. Maybe I'm selfish.
No, I agree with you though.
Him. I always want to, even if it's a one-off, just to see him interacting with the Avengers, man. Yes. Come on.
I want to see what Feige does. That's what I want to see how he.
Which Avenger? Because at this stage he can't interact with.
Everybody would accept Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, as is opposed to them just bringing in Wolverine. They would have to build to that.
I mean,
everybody would accept Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine if they show him. You don't got to explain where he came from.
I think if it is, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it does happen, to my mind, Deadpool maybe.
Deadpool the movie, yeah.
Or it's just a cameo in Multiverse of Madness.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's where it'll start.
There's going to be in Multiverse of Madness. They're going to show you clips or like characters from every single.
That's
movie.
already been announced.
You might even see
I'll say it right now,
and they just haven't announced it yet because Wesley Snipes said he's had meetings with them. So I feel like you might see all of these characters, and they show you that everything's connected.
Tom Cruise is Iron Man. That's also out there because they were talking to him about it way back in the day, and he didn't want to do it. And now there's rumors that he will be a multiverse Iron Man. All little cameo, little drops, So I can definitely see them bring him out for just something. But that's not what this is. That's not just what this is. That's the beginning. Like that whole thing of show him in the Multiverse of Madness. That is table stakes. That is showing half of his body at a grocery at a what do you call it? A cafeteria table, like they didn't do with what's his face. I think there's more to it than that. He will be in a film.
I disagree.
Like have lines.
I disagree, and I will tell you why.
Why?
If you do that, right, you are shooting yourself in the foot for whoever comes on to pick up the claws later.
Yeah.
You need him out of people's memories before you can bring back a new Wolverine, because
so then what's
he will
this about?
Always be. Could have been anything.
So this is just a simple cameo.
Maybe there was. Well, to be fair, there are people that have argued, or not argued, suggested that this was all as a tribute to Richard Donner, in that because he's old friends with Kevin Feige. They worked on the original X-Men movies together, and Richard Donner had some sort of connection to all of that. And so him being Wolverine, him changing
in the next 3 to 5 years.
Hang on, him changing, like him taking the Wolverine role changed his life. Kevin Feige being like a line producer in the X-Men movies changed the whole trajectory of the movie industry in general.
So they're just all ties back
to Donner. I've heard people say that. I'm not saying that.
No.
I'm saying I've heard people say it.
That's a good righteous. That's a righteous thing to put on. Yeah. Okay,
let's put a pin on this. And Steven Dorff.
That was fun. Hilarious. No, let's not talk about Steven Dorff. We'll be here for another 20 minutes. Forget about it.
I mean, these are things I wanted to get in, Steve.
Okay. All right.
Very simple. Okay. That dude's a clown. Let's keep it moving.
Let's explain it to people who don't know what's going on.
Oh, God.
Someone,
you brought it up. This is your topic.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yes.
Steven Dorff is a moron. Like, basically, he shit all over the whole comic book movie genre.
He
just really shit on himself, really. That's all he really shit on.
He said it was garbage and that he feels ashamed for Scarlett Johansson for even doing it. Mind you, he hasn't even seen it. He hasn't even seen it. And then he's like, I'm going to go look for the next young kid who's going to be the next great director, the next Kubrick. Like, anybody's looking for you. Like, anybody's knocking on his door to say, oh, Steven Dorff, I need you in this movie. Please, we need you to be the star of this vehicle. Fuck out of here.
What's funny to me is, did he check his own filmography? Because he's got a lot of really shitty superhero movies sitting there. Like, there's one that's just the bottom of the barrel.
Like him for is a superhero movie.
Yes. Like, I think I said this to Everborn when this was brought up. Before this situation happened, his claim to fame in my headspace was he played a damn good antagonist to Blade.
Yeah,
and that's it. And until this, that would have been all that was been in my head canon. Anytime anybody hears said anything about Stephen Dorff, yeah, that dude was a good antagonist to Blade. Let's keep it moving.
It was great,
and then of course this dude had to open his mouth and say something. Obviously, he's done so much work. I've looked at his discography, his filmography. He's done a lot of movies. He's done a lot of stuff. Some stuff that he's actually been commended for, TV and film. But most folks will remember him from his, what is it, Deacon Kane? I think Deacon Kane is Frost. Deacon Frost, yes, in Blade, right? He should have been happy.
I know him from.
He should have been happy keeping your head canon, thinking that was the last bit of
all right. Let me
because the minute he opened his mouth, he like had people looking at his filmography, and it's not a good look, especially based on what he said. Please,
let me read the quote. He says,
that's basically what I said.
I still hunt out the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow, Stephen Dorff said in an interview. It looks like garbage to me. It looks like a bad video game. I'm embarrassed for those people. I'm embarrassed for Scarlett. I'm sure she got paid $5-7 million, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't want to be in those movies. I really don't. I'll find that kid director that's going to be the next Kubrick, and I'll act for him instead.
Mm-hmm.
So that
and the thing, the person who sent who received that interview should have just been like, you know how that Twitter thing, or this you, he should have been like, real quick, this you, American Hero 2015, 442 Metacritic score, like the worst of the worst, trying to make something because superhero movies are a thing and you can't get a good one, so you just signed on to a cheap ass, really really mediocre project just because you were hoping it would turn into something. It didn't. And now you're hating on the good stuff. Like, come on. I mean,
man. But seriously, I think he is upset that these movies are sort of cash grabs, I think. And I think it's the cool thing to say, bro. I'm a big time artist, and those are popcorn things.
Sure.
It's just old people saying, get off my lawn. But
the problem with that is,
hold on a second.
Go ahead.
I think that what he leaves out is that the only other thing people know him for besides Blade are e-cigarette commercials.
Yep.
Right? the vape pens. So you're completely fine taking money to do that. You're not too much of an actor to do vape pen commercials. But Scarlett Johansson, who is, of the whole MCU, one of the most accomplished actresses, however you say it these days, right? Yeah. She got nominated for an Oscar, last year, right? For Marriage Story.
Do you think he was sober when he said this?
Oh, I don't know what was on his mind. Yeah.
He had to be off something to say something.
I think everyone's talking about him now, and he'll probably make some money off that quote. So but the point is,
about him tomorrow.
Scarlett Johansson.
He said it's a bad video game movie. His only claim to fame about video games is Far Cry Instinct, the first one, a bad video game. So you must know.
But I think she is an actor's actor, right? Oscar nominated work.
And he's a hater's hater.
Right. And she's in movies that people actually want to see and are well noted. So I don't want to give that any more time. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about it, but it was a stupid comment.
Fuck that guy.
And she's a much better actor than he is.
Yes.
Anyone can say these things.
The only other good thing that he did was True Blood, and True Blood wasn't even good that season, and people only came there for Mahershala Ali.
And I was about to say, you mean True Detective?
True Detective.
Yeah, I was like, what the F are you talking about? He wasn't in True Detective.
It was an HBO show that started with True. What do you want? It's late. But on the note that is late, Mr. Johnson, why don't you tell people where they can find you without the underscore?
Hey man, LeVar F. Johnson.
There we go.
You go. That's at LeVar F. Johnson Gmail, LeVar F. Johnson Twitter, LeVar F. Johnson on the Instagrams. Real name, no gimmicks.
That's it. And the F is in F those underscores.
Yeah, man.
All right, Mr.
Facts, bro.
Mr. The Mr. Angry Old Gamer, or Mr. the underscore bandit, Mr. K Asante. Where can people find you, sir?
You already know it. Proudly at K_Asante on Twitter,
Jesus
where
Christ.
you will find us. You will find us every week doing this slanderous talk once again.
And we'll
this
be
Saturday,
back at 8:00 next week for this one. I apologize.
That's right.
Yeah.
This Saturday, unfortunately, you will not be joining us because you have other family business taken care of, right?
It's a whole family week.
Yes, I understand. No issues, but we will still be having the gaming circle, and I will have a guest. And I hope you, Mr. Everborn, tune in and see how well or not so good I do with this guest. We shall see.
The show goes on.
The show goes on, but hopefully we'll have you back. I finally talked my man Machado into coming and guesting.
One time I'm not there.
The one time you're not there, right? I'm like, damn.
All right.
But no, this will be good. Get it out of the way. He's new to the podcasting situation, so get his feet wet a little bit. And then the next time you show, we'll set up another one where we can do it all together. So this Saturday, the Gaming Circle podcast, a veteran of the gaming environment with 10-15 years under his belt with a bunch of like games you've probably heard of, both mobile and console. So he'll be joining us. But thank you all for watching. It's been fun being slanderous with you brothers as usual, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right, and you can find me at Everborn Saga everywhere, and I have some very good news. I just got word that UPS has picked up the packages for the shipment of Ariel's Adventure and Prince of Arcadia Ultimate Edition. So that will be coming to me within the next week or so. And everyone who backed the campaign will be getting their books immediately after that. So very good news there. There will be product. If you didn't catch the Kickstarter, Ariel's Adventure will be released on our website, everbornsaga.com. So you will be able to find it there very soon. And we're going to be announcing what our next series is. So all big things. We're going to have 4 releases.
2004.
Yes, exactly. 4 releases coming up in rapid succession from the Everborn Saga, and then we will take it from there, as they say. So thanks, everybody. We will be back here next Thursday, 8 p.m. sharp. You can find me on Mr. Boomstick's show on Mondays, here on Thursdays at 8 for On the Reel, and Saturdays, not this Saturday, on the Gaming Circle podcast. So you know where to find me. Everborn Saga everywhere. Peace, blessings, love, and Stephen Dork is
bringing shame to the name.